when we talk about money, it's a touchy subject. Asking for anything is hard, really. I mean, we don't like to go out and put people out. We're very nice people. Then we get into money, and we want to ask them to give us money. Money is a touchy subject. We are brought up with our own beliefs about money. I ask you actually right now to think about the first lesson you learned about money growing up. Did it have something to do with the fact that there wasn't enough in the house? Did it have something to do with the fact that someone in your family wanted to make more and more of it because it was a sign of their worth, or they were frustrated because they weren't making enough? Did it cause tension? Was it a value? Did it mean good things for your family? Did it allow you to have good things for your family? Did it make you feel good when you got it? Was it talked about? In my family, we never talked about it. I didn't know what my father made my whole life because it was awkward. And so a lot of us grow up with this awkward feeling about money. We don't go around talking about money all the time. It's one of those taboo subjects. But for some reason, we believe that our board members will come on and they'll get better. They'll be better than we are at asking for money, right? And they'll get it. They'll think automatically, even if we don't always tell them we're bringing them on to be fundraisers. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, my board should know. My board should be a fundraising board. I need a fundraising board. And my question is, have you told them that? Or do you think they just should? Because I don't believe in shoulding on anybody. I think if you're going to have those expectations, you need to tell them right from the beginning. And so we bring them on, we think they're going to like it better than us, better than that 5%. And when I say us, I mean the general public. Again, I know this crowd, we're the Association of Fundraising Professionals, right? So chances are some of us really do embrace it and love it. But we bring people onto our boards and we think they should get it and be good at it and bring us money. So here is the truth. The truth is, in the world according to Deirdre, and most people I've talked to, board members will not like raising money from friends or otherwise any more than you do. So that's the truth. That's the reality check of it. So now that we know that, what do? How do we help boards and equip them and inform them to do their part to bring revenue into the organization? How do we avoid the awkwardness? How do we avoid the tension that is automatically going to happen with a staff and a board who's trying to make money in a struggling economy? And that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of the time. But this is the premise, is that this is the thing we don't like to talk about. And I have been right there. I ran a nonprofit for 7 years. We tiptoed around this topic almost the entire time. We bring them on, we do the give and get, the give or get, what is that? Well, this person doesn't have enough money. Well, this person donated their services, and then they did something for the art auction, so does that count? And then who's gonna ask them? Let's make the development staff go and ask the board member where their money is. That's what we wind up doing. And so it's a very tricky topic, but the first thing we need to do is talk about the reality, which is that for most people, asking for money is hard. For some people, they will never be able to do it. So that's the first thing we got to know, and then work from that. So step number 2 is explore all the ways board members can help you bring in money to your organization. So number 1, of course, is giving. So let's just get this on the table right now. The 100% giving for a board. What is that about? Because I get asked that a lot. I've actually been told by boards, a board member, I'm on these boards because they don't expect me to give my money. They expect me to give my talent and my time. And that is very, very important. We all know the time, talent, and treasure piece, right? But it's an and treasure piece. And I know that different people have different amounts of money when they come on a board, and we bring different people on for different reasons. So your give or get, or your give and get, might be a certain amount, and people can help bring in money in different ways. But this is the question I always ask, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here. If you're going to solicit a donor, or you're going to solicit a funder, and the people who are your grandest volunteers because they are your fiduciary agent, who are liable to the public to make sure you're doing the work that you say to do, if 100% of those people aren't giving to your organization, why should anybody else? And then, the how. How do you ask? This is the presentation I did last week. I sat with this group of 40 people, and we walked through what felt like very basic but very hard. How do you choke through, because for a lot of us it is, can you give me $5,000 today? And not do this, and not make a face. So we walked through that. So how to do that? And role-playing at a table isn't enough, because we all know that's a safe space. And boards don't really, I'm going to speak for myself. I hate when I would go to trainings and sit through role plays, and we'd sit there and they'd be like, you have 5 minutes to convince the person across from you to give you $5,000. You're either going to get it or somebody's going to mess with you and you're not going to get it. It's not really real. So you want to make sure that you're telling them how for real. And honoring, this is not easy for most people. So let's start with that. And that sometimes you are choking through it. But we still expect you to choke through it. And here's how. Energy begets energies. No apologies, no apologetic faces. And that goes for asking anybody for money. The seminar I did last week was about the ask. And we do that just when we ask for money in general. Can you give us $5,000 today? Or $2,500, or would that be okay? Why would anybody give you that kind of money? It doesn't make any sense. But we do that. We do that. I always say I do a lot of coaching. And really, we do the same thing whenever it's awkward. When we're giving somebody a hard conversation, when we have to do something disciplinary, I need to have a hard conversation with you today. No. Save that, freeze your face, and do that later. But we do that because it's awkward. And because we ourselves, the first thing we need to know when it comes to talking to our boards about money or asking for money is what our issues with money are. Because once we get through that, that's when we're able to do this well. A couple words of warning. Staff, do not try to fix your budget problem by bringing on new board members, especially if you're not going to tell them that's why you're bringing them on. Board, know your fundraising place. Why do boards love golf? No new golf tournaments. No new golf tournaments. Fixing your budget problem is not about creating a golf tournament. Now, maybe you've done a strategic thought and you have figured out that a golf tournament will be the best thing. But chances are, why do boards love events? Because we can wrap our heads around events, because we all understand events, because we don't have to go and ask somebody for money without giving them something in return. It's a much more comfortable thing. So people can wrap their head around that. But a board's job, unless you're a working board and you're on a committee, is not to go and figure out the colors of the napkins and to figure out when you look at your budget gap that a new golf tournament is the perfect scenario. And I'm saying this because it happens all the time. Why? Because we all understand events. That's why. So boards, you're in this too. And neither side should scapegoat. I am going to should on people because you see this all the time, and I've done it. My board, well, they're not bringing in money. They're not a fundraising board. They don't get it. That's the one I hear all the time. And then boards, I don't know why we're not. I don't know. We're in the red. I don't know. But you're the fiduciary agent, right? So have you been monitoring? So no scapegoating. Not only is that passing the buck, people on the outside will know, and it looks terrible. You do not want to show outside of your house what's going on when there's tension inside your house. As much as it might make you feel better.